morning everyone. So our group topic is fingerprinting, and these are my group members, Devi, Raj, Mita and Ravina, and me, Noor. Next. So I have a quick question. When you clean your nose with your hand, what is left inside your nose? Fingerprints. Yeah, we are left with fingerprints in our nose. So what are exactly fingerprints? Fingerprints are any impressions or marks left by the ridges in your fingers. So what is ridges? Ridges is actually the lines here that you see. The lines. Yeah, this is actually what happen when you replace your fingerprints from the ink to a blank sheet of paper. So what are the importance of fingerprints? So we know that fingerprints sometimes can improve our sense of touch. Like, for example, you know, when you hold something, you don't have to look at the object, but you can identify what is the object. This is because of the friction of the ridges. So you can grip your object and you can exactly tell what the object is. And the second one is to identify and to solve crime. So we all know that fingerprints help us to help investigators such as prosecutors or police officers to link one crime scene with another crime scene involving the same person. So fingerprints actually can track criminal records to help in sentencing, probation, and paroling. And third one, fingerprints can avoid an accidental exchange of newborn infants. So this is to avoid or prevent the swapping of newborn infants. Some developing countries like US, they use a technology called the search scan, so that newborn infants will be taken their fingerprints. But in Malaysia, we don't have that. We just use the newborn infants have like a tape to identify who's who. And these are the three types of fingerprints that we have, which is arch, loop, and whorl. And tada, this is our fingerprints. As you can, I don't think you can see, but David, Raj, Ravina, and me, we all have whorls, while Mita have arch. So to continue, Mita will explain about the process of fingerprinting process.
Okay, so where fingerprints can be found is fingerprints on soft surfaces such as soap, wax, and wet paint are likely to be plastic prints, which is visible. So there's no additional technique needed to identify them. Those on hard surfaces are either pattern, which is visible, or latent invisible print. Pattern prints can be found on porous, which is paper, cloth, or wood, or non-porous, which is metal, glass, or plastic. Latent prints are formed when the body's natural oil and sweat on the skin are deposited on another object, and the less porous a surface is, the greater the potential that any latent prints present can be found. How are fingerprints collected is one of the techniques used is alternate light source, which is a blue light with an orange filter can be used to find latent prints on desks, chairs, and other objects. Using a fluorescent dye stain and an orange light helps these latent prints appear clearly. Next is cyanoacrylate. It's a super glue processing of a surface before applying powders or dye stains. This is performed on non-porous surfaces such as surfaces exposing the object to cyanoacrylate vapors. Okay, so here's the analysis and comparison. As for the analysis, examiners determine whether there is enough information present in the print to be used for identification, and it includes determining classes and individual characteristics for the unknown print. As for comparison, unknown prints are compared alongside the known prints. The unknown print is the print found at the crime scene, and the known print is the print of a possible suspect.
Okay. I'll explain the disease that makes us loss of our fingerprint. So this is the anomatolypia. Okay, this is a disease which is lack of ridge on the skin of our finger, palms, or toe, or our sole of the foot. Also known as immigration delay disease, which is the people with this disease will difficulty in entering a country that requires fingerprint for identifying. So this disease may occur without sign or any symptoms, but it may be related with other characteristics. Another is chemotherapy, which is a treatment for anti-cancer. In the treatment, the doctor will use capecitabine for the patient. Okay, so this chemotherapy will decrease our skin elastic, our fingerprint for the patient. And other causes for losing fingerprint is decreasing in skin elastic with the age and handling heavy and rough material for long period. Other pit keratolysis, which is the individual will wear rubber glove in hot environment, which will also cause he lost the fingerprint. Fingerprint mutation by a criminal, and how are people without fingerprint be identified? They can use retina iris scan or face recognition in the custom or photograph by the officer. Okay. Next, Renana will discuss about the cases.
So next I'll be talking about the significance of fingerprints in criminal justice system. So the first case that I've chosen it happened back in 1978 where a citizen called Carol Burnett, which was 61, was stabbed to death in his apartment. So the police found latent fingerprints that was collected in the bathroom where they suspected the perpetrator actually washed his hands after committing the crime. And then his car was found a few blocks away that was dumped near a river. So the evidence and prints that they collected from the scene was tested against local and state fingerprints found, and there was no matches found. So keep in mind this was back in 1978, so they didn't have any computer software that they could check, link it with. So then the case was just kept. They just closed the case without solving the murder. So then fast forward to 2008, which is 30 years later, there was an inquiry promoting a search on the prints. And this is where the IAFIS software was already developed, which did not exist back in 1978. So they actually pulled out back the prints and then used it in the system, and they found a positive identification where the perpetrator was found. His name was Jerry Watson, and he was actually serving time for burglary charges at the time. And he lived a few blocks from where the victim's car was dumped. So his DNA matched, and 33 years later, they actually sentenced him to prison for life. Next. So the second case I'll be talking about is wrongful conviction based on fingerprinting. There was a person named Lana Cullen in 2002 that was convicted for being an accomplice in a beating, robbery, and murder of her neighbor, Helen Taylor. Her fingerprints were found on a pill bottle found in the crime scene, and she was sentenced to 55 years in prison. However, a few years later, attorney hired an expert to conduct an analysis, and it was found that she was actually wrongfully committed and she didn't commit the crime. So she spent 8 years in prison for a crime that she did not commit. Yeah. So this is an example of a wrongful conviction based on fingerprinting. So I'll pass my time over to Kavi to conclude it.
Overall, despite many criticisms made by some experts that errors can be made throughout the process of identification of fingerprints, it is mostly preferred method by many police officers. Fingerprints are distinct and unique to each individual, and uniqueness of these fingerprints provides a valuable aid to solving a crime. And the fingerprint traits are unchangeable over the course of a lifetime of an individual, and fingerprints are the ultimate source of verification and recognition of a person's identity. And fingerprint can be found with relative ease with wide variety of chemical and physical tests as explained by my groupmates. Yeah. That is all. Thank you very much.